Welcome back, folks. I'm Steve Mazzagatti, retired New Jersey State Trooper, firearms instructor, and your source for common sense, safety, training, and Second Amendment truth. Today we're covering a major development out of Washington, D.C. that may or may not be on your radar, but should be. Back in February, Attorney General Pam Bondi issued a policy directive instructing the ATF on how to allocate its resources. And yes, this does matter for New Jersey gun owners. That's what we're going to talk about today, folks. Let's get started. On February 5th, AG Bondi issued a detailed memo redirecting priorities across the Department of Justice. The result? ATF resources are being shifted from alcohol and tobacco enforcement and redirected to immigration and border security. But more importantly to us, Bondi specifically protected ATF's regulatory responsibilities for firearms. That means functions like background checks and federal firearms licensing remain fully staffed and prioritized. Here's why it matters, folks. During President Trump's first term, the ATF played what I like to call bureaucratic games. So they used a deregulatory executive order requiring that two old rules be scrapped or removed with every new rule or law that was put in place. They refused to answer questions or give compliance guidance to FFLs because they claimed that it would be a, quote, new regulation if they did so. So that kind of malicious compliance hurt small businesses and just made gun ownership even more confusing than it needed to be. People were just looking for answers. Bondi's memo stops this. She draws a sharp line stating that immigration enforcement gets the shifted manpower, but gun regulation and oversight, like helping FFLs stay compliant, stays intact. That's a win. If you're a law-abiding gun owner in New Jersey, you already face one of the most restrictive firearms environments in the country. You don't need ATF red tape on top of it. By keeping regulatory support in place, like background checks, licensing, and responses to FFL inquiries, it ensures that we don't get buried under more confusion and delays. This is especially important as our state and many others are fighting against the national Second Amendment trend after the NYSERPA versus Bruin decision, that landmark U.S. Supreme Court decision that allowed many states like New Jersey and New York for lawful gun owners to apply for and receive their carry permits. So during this time, I think there are lawsuits that are filed, there are pending court outcomes. New Jersey's still one of the states waiting for the federal court to have a final decision on one of the, what I like to call Governor Murphy's anti-carry law, drafted by his legislators in 2022. He signed it in December of 2022, restricting gun carry by legal gun owners in pretty much the entire state of New Jersey. This is after Bruin was issued in June of 2022. Multiple lawsuits were filed. We're all waiting for the outcome for the Third Circuit for one suit that restricts gun carry in pretty much the entire state. The state has been prevented from enforcing parts of that law through preliminary injunctions. However, a lot of the restrictions remain in place until the final outcome of the court case. So we're waiting for that. So clear functional support from the federal level helps reinforce, I think, responsible gun ownership rather than restrict it with confusion. We don't need to be confused. FFLs don't need to be confused. When people ask questions, they really do need answers. And it's the lawful, responsible gun owners that want to know what the right thing is to do, what's legal, what's not legal, what am I supposed to do? I know many people that have decided not to apply for their carry permit in New Jersey because there are so many restrictions and the law is so confusing about when and where they can carry. So they've decided to wait it out until the lawsuit is settled or the final disposition of the court case. I also know many people that have their carry permits and don't carry a lot because they're not sure and they don't want to drive through an area or inadvertently travel into a sensitive, what the state has defined as a sensitive area, which is really just another phrase for gun-free zone. We've already talked about this in great detail, but in NYSERPA versus Bruin, Justice Thomas even says in the Bruin decision that New York can't make a blanket sensitive place like the island of Manhattan. And New York did it anyway, but he said right in the Bruin decision that you can't do that. You can't make every place a sensitive place. And that's pretty much what Governor Murphy did in New Jersey. So we'll have to see how that case pans out in court. I think what we're seeing with this memo, folks, from AG Bondi is a smarter approach from the Department of Justice. One that addresses genuine criminal priorities without punishing gun owners who follow the law. Let me know what you think in the comments, folks. I know some people are going to say, oh, ATF regulation, it's no good. But what we're talking about here is helping the FFLs to stay compliant and also answer any questions or clear up any confusion. That's how I view this. I know some people take a different approach and say, I don't like any regulation whatsoever, but it's here to stay. The background checks are here to stay. So to me, it's important that the small businesses, because I have to tell you folks, my experience as a trooper in New Jersey, most of the FFLs in New Jersey are run out of they're small businesses and they're run out of people's homes. So this kind of stuff impacts the small business owner that's trying to make a living and selling firearms to legal gun owners, and they're trying to do the right thing. So when they need help, they need something cleared up from the ATF, they should be able to get that help from them. The ATF should be there to help them. So that's my angle with this. So let me know in the comments what you think about it, and if you're for it, against it, if you think it'll be helpful, if you don't think it'll be helpful. I'm just interested in what you have to say. I know it seems like a subtle change, the memo, but sometimes subtle changes can have major long-term impacts. So I'm interested to hear your opinion. I'm working to keep everybody up to date with these issues, folks, that I think affect us in New Jersey and elsewhere. So if you're not a subscriber, please consider subscribing to our channel. If you would like a free personal safety and situational awareness guide, click on the link on the screen above and also in the description. Also, there's information on my book, Defend Confidently, an international bestseller, if you want information on that. If you think the video is helpful, please hit the like button and share it with other people you think may benefit. Stay sharp, stay informed, and as always, train smart and defend confidently. Thanks for watching, take care, and stay safe.